So it's been an odd day. Went to work today, and funny enough as is, I read an interesting article, and every time I read interesting articles, you guys know I love to share my thoughts about it. This one just kind of outlined Android, Google, and OEMs, and the main question is has Google, and has Android OEM manufacturers, have they lost their stride, or have they lost their place? I mean, the question seems pretty valid when you kind of look at the state Android's in right now. I mean, when you think about it, on the manufacturer side, you always wonder if they've given up, if they don't have any ideas, because you can literally see more than 10 different types of Android devices from different OEM, all resemble the iPhone 10. I mean, let's just get real. I'm going to say it as it is. No one did it first. The notch and everything like that. I mean, clearly, like the Motorola One Power or Power One, whatever it's called, clearly looks exactly like an iPhone 10. There's so many of them. There are some OEMs that are trying to go a little bit different. I know, like OnePlus 6T has like a teardrop notch, so more likely resembles the Essential phone than anything else. But other OEMs, it just seems like that they failed, like they just given up. They don't have an idea to make a pretty solid device that doesn't have to look like something else to get attention. Now on Google's side, when you look at 9.0 Pi, the very stock version of it, it has gestures very similar to iOS, right? A lot of people will point that out, and we can't deny that. Craziest thing about it is that when you kind of look to see the percentage of what devices are running a certain Android, right? 9.0 is still not on the graph. I always like to look to see like which operating system is pretty much dominant in the market, just to kind of have an idea of how it goes. And it's 9.0. It's been out for some time now, and it's still not even over 0.01%. In order to make the graph to kind of show like the fragmentation of Android and what devices are running what, for a device to even make it on the pie chart, it has to be above 0.01. Okay, that's not even 1%. That's 0.01%. And Android Pie is not even there yet. Why is it not there? Well, it's the obvious thing about it. Manufacturers don't like updating their devices anymore. They would rather build new devices and pump it out there. You know, my mind, all these kids are out there causing a muck. You know, so it's like, those kids are being loud. Anywho, yeah, it's just sad and all by itself. Sad that, and I know it's gotten dark, but sad and all by itself where Android is at. The state of Android, where it's at, manufacturers' decisions not to update devices like they used to. And yeah, it's just, I mean, this is kind of the reason why, honestly, people can have great reviews about the iPhone XS, XS Max, XR. They could talk about iOS 12.0.1, 12.1, and why it's succeeding is because Apple's doing what Android did years ago, which is they're no longer trying to just catch up. They're now trying to step away and make their own path. And I think that's the same thing that Android did, but yes, I can agree with other reviewers out there that Android may have lost its way. It may have lost its way. They may have forgotten what got them to this point, and are now, it's a double-edged sword. You have Android that's not really caring, or feels like they don't care about Android anymore. Google feels like it doesn't care about Android anymore. So they're no longer making their own path. They're now starting to do the follow behind footsteps catch-up path. And then you have OEMs that can't come with fresh ideas. So hey, let's build a phone to look exactly like a rival phone that we're trying to compete with, and it'll draw attention to our phones. Let's put a notch. Let's double stack the cameras instead of putting them side to side. Let's stack them up. Let's put them in the exact same spot as the iPhone. It's sad in a way. It's still not enough for me to jump ship. Some people will, and they have every right to, and people shouldn't mock somebody because they switch from Android to iOS. Me, I'll stay on Android. I was there when it was at its lowest. I was there when it started to rise, and I'm still here as it's falling back down to its lowest. But that's pretty much all I got to say on that topic.